for this problem, what takes a long time? Yeah.
You have to scan every element, which element?
That's right. I mean, sadly, when we talk about min heaps or max heaps, they actually have a fairly weak invariant. Okay. It turns out that I'm previewing a bit here. Binary search trees are obviously similar to heaps in the sense that you visualize an array as a tree in the case of a heap, and binary search trees are trees. But the invariant in a heap, a min heap or a max heap, is kind of a weak invariant. It essentially says, look at the min element, and the min element has to be the root, so you can do that one operation pretty quickly. But if you want to look for a k-minute check, you want to see if there's an element in the heap that is less than or equal to k or greater than or equal to k from t. This is going to take order n time. Okay? Good. And finally, we haven't talked about dictionaries, but we will next week. Eric will talk about hash tables and dictionaries, and they have the same problem. Okay? So it's not like dictionaries are going to solve the problem for those of you who know about hash tables and dictionaries. But you'll hear about them in some detail. They're very good at other things. So I don't want to say much more about that because you're not supposed to know about dictionaries, or at least we don't want to assume you do, though we have talked about them and alluded to dictionaries earlier. And so that's the story here. Yeah, back there, question.
Yeah, can you explain why it's so
So, what is a heap, right? A heap, essentially, a min heap, for example, or we talked about max heaps last time, has the property that you have an element k, and you're going to look at, let's call this, let's say it's 21. If it's, let's do min heaps. So this has to be less than what's here, 23, and what's there, maybe it's 30, and so on and so forth, and you have a recursive definition. The issue is that, and when you insert into a min heap, typically what happens is, suppose you wanted to insert, for argument's sake, I want to insert 25. I want to insert 25 into this. The insertion algorithm for a min heap typically adds to the end of the min heap. So what you do is you would add 25 to this, and let's say that you had something out here, and so you'd add to it, and you'd start flipping things, and you could work with just this part of the array to insert 25 in here, and you'd be able to satisfy the invariant of the min heap, and you'd get a legitimate min heap, but you'd never check the left part of it, which is 23. Okay, so it's quite possible, and this is a good example, that you would your basic insertion algorithm, which is essentially a version of max heapify or min heapify, would simply insert at the end and keep flipping until you get the min heap property, would be unable to check for the k-minute check during the insertion, but what you'd have to do is to go look elsewhere that min heapify would never look at, or the insert algorithm would never look at, and that would require order n time. All right? So that's the story for the min heap. Thanks for the question. And it's similar for dictionaries, as I said. And so we are stuck. We have no data structure yet that can do all of the things that I put up on the board to the left in order log n time. Okay? And as you can see, the sorted array got pretty close. And so if you could just solve this problem, if you could do fast insertion, and by fast I mean order log n time, into a sorted array, we'd be in business. So that's what we'd like to do with binary search trees. Binary search trees are, as you can imagine, enable binary search, but they don't allow The sorted arrays don't allow fast insertion, but BSTs do. So let me introduce BSTs. As with any data structure, there's a nice invariant associated with BSTs. The invariant is stronger than the heap invariant. And essentially, that makes them a different data structure, not necessarily a better data structure. And I'll say why, but different. For this problem, they're better. So one example of a binary search tree looks like this.